Well, hello everyone. Today marks a very important episode in this series because I'm going to actually start off by purchasing some tiles, and I am actually going to start the great industrial migration, I suppose, just from this area here to somewhere along the coast over here. Now, for those of you just joining me, just getting used to this new channel of mine, my name is Michael, and I want to welcome you to Sovereign Gaming in City Builders, the YouTube channel where I build cities, worlds, and also discuss my thoughts on city building games as well. And as you can see, we are indeed back in the Sovereign City metro region, my very first ever Cities Skylines 2 build, as you can see, and as you can probably tell, since I'm very much still very new at this. So that is indeed the case here. So today, like I mentioned, we are going to move all of this industrial around. Now, I'm not playing with any kind of cheats, so like many of you that do play Cities Skylines 2, you know that a big deal with the game, a big part of the game is zoning it out and trying to balance each of these demand bars in order to get more progression points. Now, we didn't get a whole lot of progression points in the last episode. We only got about 3. And if we take a look at our milestones here, like we're only a large village, whereas I really was hoping that we would become a grand village. Actually, we're very close to being a grand village. We just barely missed that mark there. So instead of just talking about what I'm going to do, I am just going to show you myself. So the long-term plan with the Sovereign City metro region, like I mentioned in the first episode, is actually to get the industrial relocated along this coast here. So let's buy up some tiles and let's do this. Now, immediately what I was going to do is I was going to originally try to connect it from the highway system here, but I actually think that this highway system is going to change quite significantly. And that's because I'm sort of just changing my mind how I want it to actually function in game, and that might be something that we tackle next episode here. But for now, I did count up the tiles, and we've got about 12 tiles to purchase here that is available to us, and we do need to make a connection no matter what, because I need to export the sewer and import water and sewer services, and also power as well. So that is also going to be something that I have to keep in mind, and in order to do that, I'm going to need some sort of a road system, so it does need to be connected. This is going to feel very disjointed for the time, but I think that with these connections it'll actually turn out okay. So I want to purchase these tiles here just because I really want our industrial to be towards this end of the map. If we take a look at the air pollution, it's just going to blow off screen here. So that's really why I wanted to take a look at that. So let's purchase these. Hopefully it didn't select too many there. And we got one more left to spend. And I think I'm actually just going to spend it on this tile just so that I have it unlocked here. All right, cool. So with all of that done and said, I think that the first order of business is really just to create some sort of a bridge system here. Ooh, I almost should have purchased that one there. Okay, but yeah, I'm going to jump into a bit of a time lapse here, and I'm just going to get the basic road layouts and utilities relocated over to this section of the map. So I will talk to you guys then. Okay, so let me explain a little bit about the vision again here. So we all know that this is going to be the industrial area. We're all cool and fine with that, right? Well, the vision for this industrial area, and I would have mentioned it in the first episode, is just that it's going to actually support the industrial needs of the entire region. So yeah, it's going to have quite a bit of a large footprint in there. And as you would have seen me do in the time lapse there, sorry, I forgot my words, but what you would have seen me do in the time lapse is just kind of explore a little bit about a road hierarchy. And so right now I've just been using streets and just these medium-sized roads. I even added in an avenue here because I feel like that would be necessary. This area is by no means finished, and even the bridges here are actually being seen by myself as being very temporary, just because I didn't unlock, well, I haven't got the rest of the map tiles unlocked and all that. And right now, if I'm going to be completely honest, I haven't totally decided on how I want the highway system to look, even though I would have built a little bit of it in the map editor, which is kind of funny now that I'm sort of changing my mind here, but I'm getting a little ahead of myself. This grid layout will likely stay for the industrial area. There will be little things that I want to change here and there, but more importantly, we actually did unlock the Grand Village milestone, and so that's actually going to be giving us some different kinds of tools here, such as like the district creation tool, which is definitely something that I'm going to be doing. And by the way, I haven't figured out any kind of a naming scheme for this world and for the city build, so feel free to drop down any suggestions that you see fit. I am very open-minded at this point, but yeah, with the Grand Village, we get quite a bit of different things open to us, including policies, the districts, natural disasters, I guess, is now open to us, but also more importantly, we've got low-density offices, housing, and also some transportation options, and finally like some parks. And my little city here has desperately needed some parks here too, so very happy with that. But right now the goal of today's episode is really just to get this industrial area down, get all the utilities and everything relocated, and to open up this area for a little bit more development. And yeah, with that said, let's dezone the industrial that we have here, and then we'll rezone a bit in the actual district that we have here. So, and yeah, I did put down a little bit of road hierarchy. This is yet to be this will be redone at a certain time. Right now, I just wanted to relocate the industry so that I'm able to satisfy an industrial need without having to go through a lot of ground pollution. And if we look at the ground pollution here, it's very minimal here, and that was kept on purpose. And that purpose was just so that we don't completely ruin the ground for when I replace it with residential and commercial and all that. So, what else did we unlock? Ooh, I can't wait for the mixed housing. That'll be nice. Okay, so we've got some we got some industrial here, we got some industrial demand. I'm just gonna zone this coast here just to try to keep some of the roads different from one another. It might even be worth my time to actually do some sort of a one-way system here, but I'm kind of trying to keep my mind a little more open in terms of how I want that to actually look, just because to me, I feel like this area is going to change a lot. And by the way, we do have some more map tiles open to us. I'm going to save the map tiles, maybe even for later on this episode, but we'll just kind of see how this episode grows and everything. But yeah, remember, in the first episode, I plan on putting that huge international airport somewhere in this area here, just so that it's right beside the industrial area that I've got going here, this sort of manufacturing district. So yeah, at the end of today's episode, I'll put some districts over our different neighborhoods here, and we will start naming that. Well, I'll name a few, but I'm going to open up suggestions for you guys in the comment section. So if there's something that you want named, feel free to go for it. Like I said, haven't got a naming scheme or a naming I haven't figured that one out yet, so feel free to drop like some sort of theme suggestions as well. I am calling this a sovereign city metro region, so yeah, feel free to drop down that suggestion. But for now, I'm just going to I'm just going to break off and go into a little bit of a zoning time lapse here. I'm going to, of course, do some regular old industrial zoning, but I'm also going to add in some of the specialized industry as well, especially the stone mining, because that one is actually quite cool. So, and that's another thing too, is that in City Skylines too, these kind of industrial, like these specialized industries, they really help with your budget and everything of the sort. So I'm very excited to just kind of get that laid out here. And I might do something a little different with that area as well, because I do want us to start breaking off from having to import the utility services of some utilities here. So yeah, let's just do it. All right, so off camera, I actually purchased a couple more tiles. I just purchased some of these here. Total transparency here. I was recording and talking and I forgot to take myself off mute. So all of that footage is completely lost. So I do apologize for that, but that was really the only change that I made, is just really purchasing those additional map tiles there. We're actually down to 0. And the reason why I decided to purchase these map tiles is just because I think that the next goal, or medium goal, I guess, is to actually figure out what in the world I'm doing with these highways. When I was building this map originally, I placed down these highways. I had a lot of fun doing so, and the original idea was to have some sort of a raised cloverleaf here. But just as I'm like playing this map and growing it out, I'm not too sure if that makes the most sense, considering that this is a downtown peninsula, and as much as I love the grid that is going on here, I just kind of don't think that the highways need to necessarily feed directly into it like I was going to originally do. And I'm also not a fan of this part either. So if you guys want me to stick with the original vision, then please feel free to drop that comment. I am more than happy to change course here. But what I was thinking was that instead of having it like just feed directly into here into some sort of a cloverleaf, to actually angle it and just kind of cut off this part of the downtown area. This could help to open this little corner of the downtown island into a specific build. I'm not too sure what that build would look like, whether it would be a university, which is something that we would desperately need, or maybe even into some sort of a college build. I don't mind just kind of exploring and seeing how that goes, but that totally depends on the size of the interchange that would go into this little area as well. So yeah, the new idea is to maybe have it sweep across, cut off this corner, have an interchange that feeds into the downtown, and then just continue on this way here. Another piece of the puzzle, so to speak, is kind of what I'm going to be doing with this rail. And now that I'm looking at it, I probably should have purchased these tiles as opposed to those ones. But, you know, I am totally anticipating that I'm going to make it to the tiny town, and I can't wait until I actually get there for the mixed use. And yeah, so when looking at the industry, looks like the movement of them across this way has been successful overall. We have these manufacturing plants here, which were really just like 2x6 zonings that I had to do, and that's something that I purposely did. Was I did specific lot sizes just so that I would get like more manufacturing companies as opposed to like all smokestacks and all of that. So that was completely done on purpose. We've got some of these ore or stone producing plants injected throughout, and yeah, they were just kind of placed throughout the industrial build that we have going on here. And then of course I put in a little bit of parking here, which I felt would be very necessary for this area. And yeah, again, the vision with the industrial area is to have it pretty much supply the entire industrial need of the whole region. Again, placing that huge international airport right beside it is just going to require a significant amount of infrastructure to be built alongside it, and so I want that bordered right beside some industrial here because that would make sense. In terms of money, sometimes it dips down to a negative, sometimes it grows into a positive. Overall, we are looking pretty good. I'm not really too concerned about it, if I am going to be straight up with you. Of course, like adding in the landfill is contributing to quite a bit of costs here, but it's not something that I don't think that we can't handle. As for the economy itself, like we're making most of our money from taxes and from service fees, and then those service fees really include like electricity, which is surprising because we're only importing electricity, so I don't know how that, or water. Okay, I don't know what's going on with the game here, but apparently we're making money off of electricity and water, which is both things that we actually have to import. So I don't know how that works, because because we got that. But education is on here, and we're making a significant amount of money from the education, which is great. As for our taxes, it, like I said, we keep dipping up and down. Sometimes we're up by 1,000, sometimes we're down by a couple of hundred, so I'm not too worried about the money, and that also carries over into our taxes as well. I'm not too worried about the taxes. Production, obviously, stone is what we are producing. That's what we're exporting right now, so I'm very happy with the way that's going down. For the other industrial services, like I might get into a little bit of chicken farming here and there, just in some of the outer edges of the map, and you know, I'm fine with doing that only because I know how much money you can make from industrial, from specialized industrial and material goods and all of that. So that's something that I'm looking into. When looking into our material goods, like what these natural resources are produced into, it's clear that we're making a lot of concrete and some machinery. We're importing a lot of other things, so like food and textiles. So it might actually be something that we actually look into doing. Of course, like for immaterial goods, we have like meals, entertainment, recreation, being the thing that's making us a little more money here, so I'm not worried about that at all. Since we aren't having like any kind of major deficits, and it doesn't seem like we are actually Okay, actually, I take that back. I was just gonna say it doesn't seem to be a detrimental point for electricity or healthcare and everything of that sort. But water and sewage, um, we're not doing a whole lot of, we're not spending a lot of money on it, but electricity we are, so I might look into getting some sort of a power plant. I'm a little reluctant to do that because I sort of want to see how large this international airport is going to be before I actually do a full power plant build, because I do want to have a significant presence in our city. But yeah, just kind of going forward here, I think that what might be something that we could consider doing for a bit of this episode is to do a little bit of downtown decoration. I have been thinking about this quite significantly off camera, and I think I do want to have some sort of a large park area here. And I don't know how that's going to look like exactly, but I know that this commercial just needs to go. So, one of the issues with this downtown area is trying to figure out where to put in like a nice large park and also fit in a train station as well, because I do want to fit in the train station, and that build is going to be one that is kind of complicated here. I might just stub it in for the rest of this episode, but we'll just kind of see. But for now, I actually do want to delete out this grid here. Like I've mentioned before, these grids are very temporary, and as much as I love a grid, this is kind of how I have to work in terms of being able to space things out. So I'm getting rid of this grid, and the reason for that is because I know I just talked about parks, but I actually love the cemetery. And I'm going to get this centered here, and I'm just going to make this whole area like a much larger park area than I guess it needs to be. And now that I'm looking at this, I could have probably kept a few roads. Can I actually keep those roads running up and down? I'm just going to experiment here on camera and just kind of see if that is possible to do. Because even though that is like a significantly large park area, I know that the park assets that we get, will you actually? No, you won't. Of course not. Yeah, with the park assets that we get, it seems like, yeah, they just don't feel large enough to me. And I guess this just really warrants like some sort of DLC with Cities Skylines too, for some sort of a parks DLC like we had with Cities Skylines 1. And we're actually getting some high density residential demands. So I'm just gonna, while I'm distracting myself, I'm gonna zone just a tiny bit of that in here. See if they actually stay or not, because I know with this low rent housing that it's very finicky, and I've done some playing off camera, of course, and it seems very finicky indeed. Okay, so I think I'm done talking about that. Let's get this graveyard built in. What I want to do is I want to design some sort of a government campus area here. So I like the idea of a nice big graveyard because it has a lot of beautiful landscaping, and then just like either right in front of it or right beside it, like have it surrounded with a lot of green parkland. And yeah, you know what, I'm just gonna do it. This is gonna be my parkland area. And yeah, I also like the idea of maybe having like some older buildings, like maybe I don't want to say college because I feel like college and university should be their own separate builds in this world, but I feel that some of the tourism buildings would look nice just like across from it, and maybe even like or the town hall, of course, would look really nice. All right, I don't think that this thing is centered, so I do want to have you centered. Let's move you around. Take off snapping. Hopefully you won't turn around, and you didn't, which is nice, but I'm going to try and get you centered here a little more. Okay, that feels a lot better. I know that a lot of players kind of complain about like trees not being fully grown in. I am very down the middle in that opinion. I actually like the idea of there being an area that just kind of feels like, yeah, I like the idea of an area that is just like growing up. But at the same time, I totally get what other players are saying um, in terms of like the trees not being there is kind of annoying. So yeah, you know what, now that I'm here, I kind of feel like I just want to do a bit of a time lapse just to build up this park here. So I will catch you guys on the flip side. Alrighty, so I have definitely built out this park. I really like how it looks. Again, I love how the cemetery looks as well. Am I forgetting to upgrade stuff? Apparently I am. Okay. Well, looks like we won't have a fully upgraded looks like we won't have a fully upgraded cemetery. It's mostly there for decoration then. I mean, it does pick up people and all that, but that's okay. Maybe eventually I'll get like a crematorium upgrade from the development points. But yeah, this is exactly just kind of how it all ended up looking like. I will see if I can actually place these. Will it allow me to actually place these, please? Yeah, it looks like it will. Okay, cool. I'll just kind of replace this as I explain my vision. So this is really going to be that Central Park area pretty much. And it's not necessarily modeled after Central Park in New York City. It's just more so modeled after really any park. I just wanted like a nice big green space to just kind of play with. I imagine that this little section here will be where the town hall sits, or the city hall, I suppose. I'm not too sure. It might be where some of the welfare offices sit, and that's actually kind of why I left these two green spaces really blank here, is because I haven't unlocked any of the big parks yet, and I know for a fact that I do want to place some large parks in here, maybe some sports parks, and yeah, just continue to actually make this a city amenity. I don't know what that's going to make the rest of this area here, but it is shaping up to be quite a bit of a downtown core on this side. This again might actually change just kind of as we go along here, and I am going to reserve these 6 squares here, these 6 blocks for development of some other kind. So yeah, I'm this is a very much an unfinished project, and I really do enjoy how these oak trees are going to sit in here and how they're going to grow. I kept it very simple. I really wanted more green space, and I really wanted it to feel more expansive than anything else. And yeah, that is going to be the vision that I had for it. And then we are gonna add in a few more oak trees actually. Maybe I'll just do like 3 on each side. And of course, the one in the middle there is not centered at all. But yeah, loving how this is all turning out in terms of it actually being an amenity. And, you know, like I mentioned on the first episode, I kind of have to create these grids so that everything falls into place better than yeah. And then I delete them out and then continue to shape the city after the fact. So yeah, I'm just going to quickly add these, and then we're just going to jump into our view here, and these two are just going to bother me if I don't delete them. Sorry about that. Alright, and if I zoom out quick enough, I won't want to fix it. Okay. We got a couple of problems here. We've got low rent, or high rent, I should say. No such thing as low rent in Cities Skylines 2, or real life for that matter. But high rent problems are an issue. My people are not happy. They have high crime. Speaking of which, what is my crime situation like? It is non-existent in terms of what I can build here. Alright, cool. I know that, like I said, these 6 squares are going to be reserved for something, whether that's one of those tourism buildings that looks really nice and old style and all that, or it'll be reserved for maybe like the city hall. City hall could also be placed here. These 2 blank spaces might be reserved for large parks, or even the welfare office could be welcome in this vicinity as well. But yeah, this is definitely going to be the government plaza, and in fact, we are just going to kind of name it as such, just call it the government campus. Now, for these areas, if you have any name suggestions, I am all ears for them. If I spell it right, without any brackets. I'm all ears for any kind of suggestions that you guys have, but I'm mostly just creating a district in this specific case just so that I don't accidentally build over it, and I'm not even going to zone for it either. I think that I do want the central station located here, so I'm just going to zone that out as well. So this is just going to be central train station. I think that's gonna really work for the city, is just to have it like right across from the government campus. This will all be downtown, but if you guys have any kind of like, if you have any specific neighborhood names, again, I'm very much happy to hear them out. If you just drop a comment in the comment section. Of course, we've got our industrial area here, which will just continue to expand and grow as we move along here. So our money has kind of stayed the same and sort of decreased at the same time, and yeah, that's to be expected just as the city is just starting to come together and to build. I am just going to zone out a couple of more areas just because we are just absolutely dying for population, and in fact the people are dying themselves. So I'm just going to zone a couple of blocks of the low density residential. I'm doing this indiscriminately. I don't think that I'm going to be able to get to building on the other side here. We've already covered a lot for today, including like the beginnings of the government campus, which will be a nice little green area and capital area of the city. And then we've also got the new industrial area as well. We bought a significant amount of tiles. But yeah, at this point, I'm just really having to zone for different things here. And yeah, we still have high density residential demand. I'm very careful about this because like I said, I feel like it doesn't really behave as it's supposed to. So I'm very suspicious of it. But yeah, we'll just keep zoning a little bit here and there for this. And then hopefully these progression points will open up here. I think in the next episode, I am going to... I can't wait for Tiny Town, honestly. Like, the mixed use housing is so great. And yeah, I think in the next episode we are going to look into spending some of these progression points. We're kind of coming to a point where I've actually got to start building properly. So what that really means is actually laying out the foundations for the highways and all that. All this time we've just been really trying to keep up with the demand, trying to earn more tiles and build those progression points, but we're kind of getting to a point where I need to make some more better decisions about the highway system, and there's no way I'm building the highway in the next episode without purchasing the highways and even large roads then. And what does rail even cost? It costs 1, so I might even have points left over for that. So we'll just kind of see how that goes there. But for now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to zone out. Again, we've got that never-ending low-res demand here, so we'll just keep that going on the outskirts. And yeah, that's let's just zone a few more things in here. I'll try not to do too much with the medium residential because I know I'm going to just upzone all of this into mixed use. So keeping that in mind here. But yeah, it looks like everybody just wanted somewhere to live, really. So it's kind of where we're at. We've got high rent problems. We've got not enough customers, but don't worry, I'm sending you more customers on the way. You just have to be a little patient with that. And yeah, city's looking good overall. I'll come back to you guys with some tours once everything is all grown up.